After 200 videos, it's finally dawned on me that my biggest area of question or questions to the Reformed, the TULIP, and the Calvinist believers has to do with predetermination. If predetermination is true, there's so many things in the Bible that just don't read as if predetermination is true. So here's an example. Why would the Bible ever use the word foreknow or foreknowledge at all in communicating with humans? If foreknowledge doesn't matter to us, what matters to us is predetermination, all that's been decreed. God's sovereign power is meticulously controlling all things. And Warren McGrew likes to say, with specificity, and I'm stealing that from him. So why use foreknowledge? Who cares if God knew it before? He'd also decreed it before. Why doesn't it say decree more? Or meticulously is controlling through his sovereign power all things that come to pass? But it never says that. But 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 times, foreknowledge, foreknown, etc. So to take this a little bit deeper, those are some words, again, mostly for my benefit. When you read them, I'm sure there's typos and missing words and, stuff like that. So anyway, yes, we could take on some of the positions that the Calvinist reformers would, it's a mystery, or, some believe, even though they don't all believe the same. The Calvinist Reformed TULIP people may say, well, he permits this, but he doesn't permit that. We say determined, but we're compatible as determinists, and so on and so forth. We could go and we could find the scriptures that they use to support that, but just a random search, pure accidental. I had no plan to go this direction, but here it says in Samuel, the Lord does not look on the appearance, the height, or the stature. For the Lord sees not as man sees, but man. So man looks outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. Well, wait a second. What heart? The predetermined heart? Does he really need to look at the heart? Why even tell us, the Bible reader, that he's looking at people's hearts? He's looking at their souls. He's looking at their thoughts, their actual desires, their inner whatever they have. Doesn't make sense if it's determined. Doesn't make sense if this all happened in eternity past. Why make this scripture sound as if it's happening in time? Why relate this scripture that's happening in time to something that's happening in time, so that the people who read these words in time and who you've given the ability to think, discern, reason, solve problems, and we can understand stuff, we would understand these words to mean in time, God's looking at the hearts to see what they think and feel. There's just a whole line of head-scratching stuff here. Just a few more verses, you can read them yourself, that fit this line of thinking. I, the Lord, search the heart and test the mind. Well, what? The mind that you predetermined that you don't need to test? You're testing and looking at the heart of what you pre-designed and designated to do exactly with specificity, what you called it to do, or you're making it do by decree. It seems useless. And why tell us you're doing so? That's really useless. How am I supposed to use that information as a Christian or as a non-Christian? Of course, I don't say this enough, but if you believe that you actually have free will, where you get to read this, use the God-given faculties of thought and reason, logic, problem solving, to decide how to interpret this, how it might apply to your life, and then you choose to either apply it or not apply it, well, then it makes sense. Why a perfect God who probably doesn't speak incorrectly would use such words. As in water, face reflects face, so the heart of man reflects the man. Psalm 4, would not God discover this? Well, discover what? What he's predetermined? What he's decreed? Nothing to discover. But if man has free choice in time as he's doing his daily activities, and his choices matter and affect the outcomes and bring about results that God works around and through and between and over and beside, then this makes sense. That's what he would discover in the hearts, in men, in time. And I could make up questions, confusing questions to all of these. This is just a handful. You could cross-reference every one of these and come up with 10 brand new things that make you scratch your head. So the overarching question or head scratcher is, why misspeak? I call it misspeaking because we as believers don't need to read the Bible to hear God foreknew something. He foreunderstood something. He had foreknowledge of something. I know some of the arguments a Calvinist reformer TULIP might make, but maybe try to just see it through my eyes for a second. Why, if predetermination and decree is absolutely true, and God's controlling all things sovereignly right now, and nothing will happen other than what he's predetermined, these are dumb words to use, because it gives me a sense that God could see my heart, or could see what was going to happen, or he could know what was to be. But if it's only predetermined and sovereign control, why not say that here? That would make more sense. It would give me a stronger foundation to build my hopes and my dreams and my faith and my trust on. Oh, I could go forever. Thanks for listening. Head scratchers abound. I think we're at about, 220 videos? Cool. Over and out.